1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, it's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
They don't want us to be happy, they don't want us to love. They don't want us to be happy, they don't want us to live. They don't want us to be. They don't want us to make peace, they don't want us to love. They don't want us to be rich, they don't want us to love. They don't want us to be.
I've been told that we're supposed to announce who we are when we start these podcasts.
Oh, it's Tuelo.
And Kevin.
Yay!
Hey! You know,
Boom, boom.
every episode
You're going to know us.
Do you need a napkin? Oh, you're fine.
It's okay. My clothes are my napkin.
That never goes away.
Never goes away. It's a forever napkin. Remember, kids.
Forever napkin. Oh my gosh. Today we're just giving updates. We're doing little check-ins. We've got so many things happening, and we want people to know about them. And also, we just have to wrap our heads around all of them.
True.
So, you know, this podcast has multiple functions, partly just to help us manage ourselves.
Wait, play the tune. Play the tune. Folks,
Oh my gosh.
So, everyone has to help me. This podcast is going to be called. What's his name again? The redhead from London.
Sharon.
Ed. It's going to be Ed. Ed, do you know this song? If you do, call me immediately. That's the title of the podcast. Okay, Kevin. Ed, do you know this song? Because what I heard last night is this very song, and no one, you know, I'm not the type of person, Kevin, to be like, ooh, I did that.
Yeah.
No one in the world could have done that except me. Is it a new song, Kevin? Or it's an old song?
His song. No, it's his new single. He's like releasing an album in a few
This
months.
guy
and this is like
is
his
releasing.
lead single off of it.
So I'm going to write him a message and just be like, I think you should be careful. This very phrase, it hasn't, you know, a number to it. This very phrasing of a song has been sung.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to be, not only has it been sung, it's been sung by crowds. It's sung by so many people.
Yeah, I looked on YouTube yesterday. I think the oldest one of you on there, I mean, it's older than that, but it was from like 9 years ago.
Yep.
In New York.
Yep.
With the crowd singing it.
It has to be. It has to be from the time I met you.
Yeah.
First time.
You had already...
That was Come As You Are.
Yeah.
The one that Aya did. The little video. That video, I particularly remember because Come As You Are was one of my first songs I was comfortable on guitar with. So if I were playing it anywhere, I was playing it everywhere at that point.
Yeah. You want to sing a little bit of it?
When the stranger comes to my town, bringing clouds and rain, a strange presence fills a place. At the end of this town stands a woman singing soulfully melodies that call my name. Duelo, duelo. Duelo, duelo, duelo. This was going to be like also the Kennedy Center songs. Then she said, come as you are, you defeated, you lonely, you broken. Come as you are. Come as you are, you mistreated, you mourning, you longing, yeah. Come as you are. Now I understand if he was like, that was something very interesting I heard somewhere at a show, wherever, at a show in Germany, at a show in Belgium, at a show in New York, at a show in this, like, at, you know, I would understand. you know? Anyways, the crowd sing along is literally this. It's a chant. I, yeah. I, yeah. I, yeah. I, yeah. I, yeah. So I saw it on TikTok. On TikTok?
Yeah, I was on TikTok.
And I was like, what did I just hear? This great guy who sings on the subway and showed up on my TikTok. I think once I actually took a video of him and put him up on something. And so he showed up singing with Ed Sheeran. It was supposed to be like Ed found him there, but actually it's a new song, so he had a paper reading from. And then he did I like, folks, I was like, wait, am I dreaming? Like,
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Because it is so, it's not like it's nothing subtle. When I was
and
doing,
even like the harmonies are
exactly the progression of it. When I was doing the Chevron ad, sorry folks, power to the people, to the environment. I was very hungry.
Yeah.
I was hungry. I needed the ad. When I was doing the Chevron ad, I didn't know it was Chevron. I thought it was like, I don't know, but it was some big company, and yeah. Anyways, when I was doing it, I remember they had a musicologist there who went through everything she's ever heard of what I was singing, because I basically composed a new song off of South African lyrics of a lullaby, and so they had a musicologist there all day. So each and every melodic take I would do, she would reference it with every song that ever was. So when I got to a point where I did something and she was like, oh, it's like this Israeli singer who is a very famous old Israeli musician who did a phrase in that way. And we don't want to then have these issues, because it's like a huge multinational big company. And you know what I mean? And so I was like, oh no, Ed, you should have found a musicologist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a new song.
Yeah. Anyway.
And also knowing that he's like into doing the African mix thing, you know.
Yes. Didn't he like do a trip to
Nigeria or something of that sort?
Ghana or
but
something
most of his songs,
for his,
most of his
last
pop
album?
songs have been Afrobeat.
Yeah. Totally.
Afro influence, like,
Yeah.
you know. Anyways, whoever heard me from Ed's team, I beg you to come forward.
Yes.
I am not a mean person or vindictive or anything of that sort. I would just like what's mine.
But yeah, if you know Come As You Are and you go and listen to his new single,
I'm going to let people know.
There's no way you can like
You
hear
can't.
it and not immediately think of it.
Anyways.
But part of that we have been working on is copywriting all of these songs to make sure we have things covered.
We have to. I don't think we've done enough. So
No, we
it's
haven't
probably
done
something
enough.
that we like need to do, because I do worry about it. You know, like my thing is I can always write.
Yeah.
Which is like the thing I'm sure of. Like, I have so much to get out, you know, melodically, everything else, that I never worry about it. But what I do worry about is it not meaning anything. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, then why do I have music if it's not going to mean anything? You know, it's like the first question you ever asked me: do you want to be mediocre, or do you want to do something with this music? Do you know what I mean? And like, I want it to be meaningful.
Yeah.
So even though I don't worry about in a way, I do want to preserve the thing that I have made. Do you know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah, of course.
like, and so that's like my worry of, if you are going to use it, then acknowledge this, and then take steps to help me move forward. Then take steps to, do you know what I mean? Like, if we're all going to enjoy this thing that came, then like acknowledge it, Ed. Sorry, acknowledge it, world. I'm not sorry, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I would want to be able to do, so that's why I think for us to be able to copyright, to get all of this, there's a song bank of so many songs I'm ready to rate. You know what I mean? That are waiting on a list. Like, don't forget, like this song. That
so many songs to sell to people.
I'm
if
so
you're
ready.
out there, people that are needing songs,
take
or
them away
you're
from me.
selling songs to people.
Take them away from me. Like,
we're ready.
Yes, Kevin, we're so ready. Because there's no fear of not creating something new and fresh and fun and beautiful and exciting. Do you know what I mean? And touching and all of that kind of thing. Yeah. That is not a fear. We just want to be able to open up the space and say, there is product to be had, and it is really, beautiful, and it can make a change, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and that makes me kind of think about how I think the past 6 months have been pretty transformative in a great way, which is, thank goodness. There's still a long way to go, but I think the thing that changed significantly is we've started to find a very specific team of people to work with that all are in different parts of the music industry. There's still a couple of key roles that we need to fill. So booking agents, sync agents, please. But, there is so much. There's no way that we can do it ourselves. I mean, just handling the small, not even small amount, but making a podcast, videoing things, video editing, graphic designing, Instagram. We were just on a call today where we were getting taught how to use the back end of Meta audience building to it's crazy. The tools are out there and the people are out there, but so much of music industry is finding the right people. And I also think something that's really interesting, especially working with you, is there are people that get it and are just want to better understand who you are and where you come from and why you're doing this and how do you make this sound. And then there are people that are just think they already know everything. Yeah. And don't take that time and actually oftentimes disregard what you do. They're oh, you just sing, so I don't need to talk to you about this other stuff or the production end of things. And it's infuriating, and it's almost always white men that do it. It is.
And I think that's why I've also I'm always trying to tell myself, do not be offended. Do not be offended. It's not about you. It's about them. It is how, for lack of a better way, and I mean education in terms of worldliness, in terms of other things, but it's a lack of education. It's ignorance. To then meet me and then look at me that way because, oh my gosh, are you totally, you know what I mean? I am not that, whoever you think a black woman is, it's crazy, it's always, almost always that. I think what we're looking for in people, and I tend to work with men a lot because I don't think there's enough of a breadth of women who work in this industry, who I can talk to or bring in or whatever, who also who working at this level of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or
Well,
the
yeah,
different
they
levels.
Face a lot of challenges to be able to do that too.
They
so,
have faced a
yeah.
lot of challenges. And so like I tend to work with a lot of men, and I find that there has been a boys just like, you know, like thing.
Club. Yeah.
And it's also you get there and you're just like, oh my gosh, I think I'm more creative than you. Do you know what I mean? Oh my gosh, I think I am more like I'm more advanced than you. Like kind of, do you know what I mean? Like you meet people just like, oh man. And also character-wise, I'm a person who's always just like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I thought about the other day, Kevin, like, I'll never change being that kind of a person. My mother's like that. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen how it's been a drawback for her. But when she was younger, she was like, do you know what I mean? She was on top of the game. So, like, I feel like we just need to meet, even if it's going to only be men, people who are curious.
Yes.
People
Which
who,
exists,
yeah,
for
who
sure.
you know what I mean, who are interested, who want to know more, who want to do more, who want to challenge themselves, to improve, to, you know, gain something new, to look into things, you know. I think that's the kind of person who's the most interesting, particularly in our creative work outside of administrative work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that person's going to understand me, is going to see all the things that can happen. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be the person who says to me, you wrote this? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that person's not going. And I do appreciate that kind of a question, but to be asked 6 times if I wrote that,
Right.
do you know what I mean? Or to just like assume I didn't, or you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like assuming how did you sing like that when I sang it, kind of a thing. It's just a weird thing for me to come about, because even I think I can teach people something who've done this for long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you are coming from a very different perspective.
from a very different
right?
perspective.
There's how many, like,
Like,
you know, suburban kids who listen to, you know, whatever,
you know?
play guitar, have 12 guitars in their basement, you know.
It's an interesting thing, but we will come to that, to meet them, and it takes time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It just takes.
Yeah,
so
and I think
much
that's
time.
also why in the music industry people take so long to get to a certain point, because you're actually building your team as you go along. You just don't, like, you know, put out resumes and say, hey folks, who's this? You actually have to find the people who believe in you.
Yeah.
Like, you believe in yourself. Because if you don't meet like a Linda for Chris, if you don't meet, do you know what I mean? A manager who's like,
this
I
is
love,
the manager who manages the producer who did the remix.
Yeah, so it's funny because when Rob said today, who do you sound like? I was like, oh, that's weird, because when we met, who's the gentleman who booked our tour?
Oh my god. Marco.
When we met Marco the first time in Nashville, he was like, oh, you do Victory Rock.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, and I was like, what? Who has? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
how did
great.
you listen to this and then come to this realization? Because the whole point of spirit in folk rock's Spirit Reclaimed is victory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, that is spot on.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? That is spot on.
Yeah.
And so when he spoke about the bands who do Victory Rock, yes, they were just, you know, guy bands, but they were bands I really love.
Yeah.
Because I can see myself in them, even though we don't sound the same. I'm an African woman who like lives in New York, and do you know what I mean? But I can see myself in them. I can see myself in the Killers. I can see myself in Kings of Leon. You know, it's specific people. But for him to particularly say that, I was like, oh man, Rob is going to have a hard time, because you know, people who listen to music have said so many varying things.
Yeah, and it's,
you know,
I love hearing things that are like out of left field, and then you're like, oh wait.
But most of the time it is left
actually
field.
Makes sense. Yeah.
most of the time it is left field. So, but I'm like, I think to be able to meet people who are, who heard it, who've listened, who are excited, and keep on building the team with these very people.
Yeah.
You know, the very people who really like it, the geese of the world, every, you know.
Yeah.
I think that is what I am looking for. World, looking for something.
You hear that, world? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I mean
Those people.
Yeah.
I mean that is part of why we're doing this podcast. I mean, one of the things when we were talking with Guy, so who helps kind of consult with us around the music industry here, is like being able to tell your story first so that people can hear it, and then it kind of automatically brings the people to you that get it.
Yeah.
And we've already heard a couple of people that we've talked with out of the blue, and then they've gone and said like, oh, we listened to a podcast episode, like, so interesting, and then we went back to listen to the album, and then it like, oh, that made, you know, it's just like making those connections. It's a lot of storytelling, it's a lot of there's a lot of everything. Yeah. But
it's interesting. So like, even for Rob, when, you know, when he sent the music in the beginning, I'm trying to be that person who, like, because we're working on music, we're working specific people, I go back and look at their whole thing, and then I listen to songs because I'm just like, I have to do this exercise whether I think I have time or not.
Yeah. Because
then I understand the kind of person we're going to work with, what they like, maybe they don't like, what their potential could possibly be. Do you know what I mean? And I would think a person who meets us is going to do the same type of homework. Yeah. I find now, especially, just doing homework on things is so essential. And then also not being too tied up in, when does this have to be ready? When does this have to be ready? To just ready things as much as possible. Right. To
and
get
then it moves very quickly, usually.
Do you know what I mean? To not say you can't do this without a website. I was listening I was listening to she's a business psychologist who was talking about women who are educated in business, why they don't get ahead compared to a person who never went to school for it and just came from whatever, fled a country and then opened a bodega and it did well and they moved on and then they opened a store next door because they didn't settle on, I need to have a website before I tell people I'm doing this. Right. I can't tell people. I need
to be like fully up and running before.
You know, I can't tell people I'm a this without having this. Do you know what I mean? Where she's like, people who are always telling you they are social media experts are not social media experts and they're making money while you're waiting to do your website to show how you're a social media expert. Those people are making buck. And she's like, it's that attitude of this person who didn't even go to school for it, who didn't even who's just like, I'm going to learn this specific thing and then I'm going to make a business out of it, you know? And so like, I was like, oh my gosh, I literally sent her a message and I was like, I needed to hear this because I appreciate all of the preparation, especially the preparation because we're working with so many people is important. Yes. So that everyone's calmness is like everyone's calm knows what's going on. But then the idea of some things just need to be put out. It's the idea of social media, of doing videos, nice or not. Yeah. Putting them out, of doing this. Do you
Oh my
know,
gosh, we have the killer video we've never put out.
do you know what I mean? Killer video of even just like everyday videos like this or whatever.
Yeah.
Thinking too much on, should I be putting this out? Thinking too much on, do you know what I mean? And so that.
I wonder, this is interesting. I wonder what portion of that like instinct to have everything together almost comes from like shame. Is that the word I'm thinking
Yes,
of?
she
Of
was
like-
talking about
of like-
imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Yes, it's imposter syndrome, and all. But there's also a piece of it like I feel like I should be further, so I need to make it look
Like I'm
like I
further.
am. But then all of your energy is going into just making it look like that without actually putting energy into doing it.
doing it.
Which is a very tricky thing
Yeah.
to manage sometimes.
Yeah, but she was like talking about it, like people who are more well known, particularly social media, and social media is where you're selling things every day for any business now.
Totally.
Those people started not knowing anything, not knowing, showing up the way they showed up. If you look at their videos, they weren't all done up. They weren't this or that. When you are trying to present that, you do the I have to put this, do you know what I mean? And then people like me. But I think also as a way of moving forward is just to like what we have should be put out in terms of social media. Let's just keep it there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
What we have should be put out. What do we have to lose? We can always create more. You know what I mean? Like we can always create more. Let's put it out. It's like copyright all of the songs and sell them and do this. Like when I spoke to Ken, he said, "Oh, if you have the song bank,
This was
share it with
the
me."
vocal producer.
Yes, the
worked with
vocal
last week.
producer who is really great too in Ireland. Hey, Ireland.
Yes.
He was just like, yes, just send me the song bank. They, you know, like he's like he works with like musicians who are maybe in different genres, but he's like particularly. He knows that people don't have in hip hop or something of that sort. They don't have song ideas.
Right.
And so he was like, if you don't mind to like share, they might want to buy a song from that and then like do a thing
do a
over
verse.
it,
Yeah,
you know, that kind of thing. I was like, oh, I mean, yes, I suppose there's songs. But, you know, like obviously there's specific people we would like in terms of genre to buy songs, but they're songs. Like, why keep them with me? You know, have people hear them, copyright them, have people do whatever. But like, also just not, especially in like the creative stuff. For me, not to like be hung up on all of these things, to just put them out and be at peace.
Well, we're putting out a lot of things this year.
Yeah,
We have a big plan, and I guess we can tease a little bit. We're about out of time anyway. So we've done the remix album. Moving on from there, the next thing that you all can look forward to, which will be coming out very soon, is a full live album, which honestly sounds amazing.
oh my gosh, it's
I
my favorite.
oftentimes I just like
It's my
listen to
favorite.
it in the middle of the day, or like at the gym.
It's I love it so much.
It's really great.
Yeah.
And it has video with it too.
That's great.
So we'll probably start talking about that the next time you hear from us. And for everybody who is in New York, we are coming back home for the summer. So we're going to be playing shows in New York and the New York area.
Oh my gosh.
If you hear of anything that we should go to or want us to be involved with, give a holler. But it's going to be great to be back home.
Back home. So excited.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, I've already like planned my New York. But I do want to play. So
Yes.
whereas last year I was not okay,
Yeah, last
so
year.
I couldn't like move about
Right.
as much. So now
This year we're ready. We're ready. We'll miss you, Ireland, but Ireland, we will be coming back.
Yes,
Don't worry.
we will be.
So
Pretty
yeah.
cool. It's my first time in the UK
Yes.
next week.
We're
So,
going,
should
working
be.
with producer.
Despite what people think, actually. You know, people always just like, oh, you're from the UK? No.
People
we
do
were
always think you're
colonised.
from the UK.
Colonization.
Even people in South Africa.
Even people
Actually,
in South
usually
Africa.
people in South Africa are like,
People
oh,
in
you're
South,
British.
South Africa, people in the, you know, people in the from the UK in London, in like New York. So it should be interesting.
Yeah. So
here.
let's go. We'll go explore London, and then we'll see you in New York.
Working with a great producer.
Yes. More
Check us out.
more about that soon. But it's very exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What are we doing? Song.
Oh, you want to do a little closing song? What do you think? Oldie or a new?
Do you know how to play the upcoming songs?
Yes.
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 I know how to play Enemy. I know how to
You want-
play. I might know,
I know
how to play.
Enemy of Love.
Pick up your phone. Worry sick.
Do I?
Try.
I've done
Hey.
it before.
Hey. That is funny.
There we go.
For you, please, please, please pick up the phone. I'm worried sick at home. Been searching all this town for you. I just want to help you. I just want to bring you back home to me. I'm a sorry person. Give it time to heal. We can make it better. The space between us is an enemy of love. This place between us is an enemy of trust. The space between us is an enemy of love. The space between us is an enemy to us. Calling all your friends, they don't pick up the calls. Call the cops, they say I shouldn't care. Oh, it's just a messy fight. We'll be back again. They don't know your mind. We can stay together. Give it time to heal. We can make it better. The space between us is an enemy of love. This place between us is an enemy of trust. The space between us is an enemy of love. The space between us is an enemy to us. I just want to help you. Just want to bring you back home to me. I'm a sorry person. Give it time to heal. We can make it better. Oh, I just want to help you. Just want to bring you back home to me. I'm a sorry person. Wow.
It's just the same 4 chords over and over and over
Yes.
again. And
That's the
didn't
kind
even
of song
remember
I
it.
love.
I know, me too.
Like,
Perfect.
why even bother?
I was like, oh, I wonder if the chord is different. I'm like, oh no.
It's what's her name? The first rock musician in the world is an African American woman. She's singing She was singing on the black side of town. There's train tracks, and people would come in concert and watch her on the white side of town at the train station as she played.
Yes.
And she said
Oh my God.
the only things that she could do, she knew how to do on guitar with 3 chords, and she's like 3 chords wrote all of her songs.
Yes.
I was like, yes. What's her name again? Wait, can I define?
Rosetta, right?
Yes.
Rosetta Thorpe.
Thorpe or something. Yes.
Sister. Was she a nun?
Something like, I don't know. Something. I'm going to. Yeah. Anyways. Kind of cool.
Time to go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole.
Wikipedia rabbit hole.
Bye.